How will you leverage this information to improve your performance and your clients' satisfaction? You already know this is about the baby boomers, 77 million of them, the world's biggest spenders. And you know they're ready to go shopping for their final home so they can age in place. So we're recapping. You know that they want more than they think they can get, and they want little pleasures they don't believe they can afford. And most of them don't even know they can have their wish. I told you that the secret sauce they crave is formidable security. They don't know how to defeat the biggest threat to their security in retirement. Many are unaware just how easy it will be to fall prey to that threat, and they're certainly not expecting to learn it today from you. The reality of this is that most of them don't know just how precarious their security is as they approach a horizon filled with treachery. Here's a little detail that many boomers have no idea even exists. You and I know that others can forcibly take their home away, and even big guns can't protect them, right? But there's a formidable protective retirement strategy that removes that threat even though it wasn't really designed for that purpose. In a shoestring budget retirement with limited resources, if you have any financial setback, it's likely you'll never recover, so a formidable defense is required. Clearly, it's nothing like the precision of a NASA launch, and it defies logic. On November 4th, 2014, the Demand Institute released their report with startling numbers about boomers planning to spend $1.9 trillion on homes in the next 5 years. Startling because of what these numbers represent. 77 million boomers, and 50% of them plan to age in place. That's no surprise to us. But 37% of them plan to move before they retire, and of those movers, nearly half say they're going to buy bigger, nicer homes. Now that's great news for the home builders and realtors, but you know the dirty little secret. 80% of boomers, 62 million of them, are at risk to run out of money before they die. Most of these buyers are a part of that 80%. Yet, most of the homes they're going to buy will need to be financed. This just so happens to support the AARP study that indicated 30% of boomers have admitted they intend to work until they drop. Let me set the table on this. So check out the at-risk number in yellow. This is double the number that AARP said admitted that they'd work until they drop. Risk is only an irritating word to all of us who are at risk. It only becomes deadly serious when it actually happens to us. Right now, while they still have money, boomers are going to spend it, resulting in about 25% of all home purchases in America for the next 5 years. By offering housing differently than you've been doing it, you can be instrumental in protecting their best interests. Let me show you how to guide them correctly to protect having a roof over their heads for the rest of their lives. This is a life changer. That's a pretty heavy headline, isn't it? Think about it. This is why over 32 million seniors are planning to work until they drop, rather than risking the loss of their home in retirement. They don't realize even this strategy is a reckless gamble. This is going to be a mouthful. When you help a senior into the HICM financing strategy for their retirement home, this isn't hyped to accommodate a few additional luxury features on their home. It's a giant leap towards protecting them from the future sequences that can end with the loss of money, the loss of their home, and the loss of their dignity. This isn't just some little trinket benefit to your client. It's a solution to something that keeps many of them awake at night. a preventive strategy that once completed, when their home closes, they're secure. No alligators under the beds to worry about. The ones who don't lose sleep are the ones who have yet to figure this out. Comprehensive studies on the costs of homelessness and the scarcity of shelter solutions is an incredibly expensive problem that our society, locally and nationally, will be unable to finance. Today, the numbers are only a small fraction of what are projected during the next decade. Keeping your client out of that mix is huge. It levels the playing field to keep them in their home and off the streets. So you tell me, is that a big deal? Okay, just a little background. When you use a HICM to protect your senior buyers, the long-term results will not include a scene like this. We know that the day someone becomes homeless is not just a bad day. It's not an insignificant date that they'll ever forget, like a birthday or an anniversary. Rather, it's the day that their treasures became trash and their lives became a little piece of a dire statistic. The older the victim, the more tragic the impact. This is what you're protecting your senior clients from. Their protection is included with their purchase. Do you remember the math? The Demand Institute released their report on November 4th, 2014, and it says that boomers will spend $380 billion a year for the next 5 years, which is about 25% of all projected home sales in America. Most boomers want to age in place, but 37% of them have plans to move from their current homes. And almost half of those that are going to move, 47%, are looking for nicer homes with more space. Do you think they'll be even a little bit interested in hearing about the special secure retirement benefit that comes with the home if they qualify? Earlier, I told you that getting their attention will be different. They've been sold all their lives and they dislike it about as much as you do. How will you get past their protective wall of secrecy? Well, you're going to have to allure them with the concept of more and less and security for the rest of their lives. So let's start with more. More is better. They know what they want. Show them how more looks. They know it'll cost more too, and that's what they're afraid of. They've got to allocate what limited funds they do have responsibly. This is where less comes in. Your offer should include less stress, less insecurity, and less risk. Payments will not be a qualifier because the HICM doesn't require any payments at all. I get it. Change is not fun. Differentiating your pitch is change. To the senior clients, pay special attention to their questions and don't be afraid to mention what many of their peers are indicating. Any serious differentiation would be to include their lifelong security along with the extra whistles and bells of the housing product that interests them. Frivolous cliches do not make irresistible offers. Compelling facts supported by serious research is the combination you're going to need. This will be their last home purchase, and you have one shot, so you better make it count. I'd be happy to help you with your pitch. I can help you deliver the elusive security they want when you sell them their retirement home, and they're going to need proof before they warm up to this unexpected solution. I just happen to have the good proof you need as well. Okay, so this might shock them. They don't know that you know how to give them a nicer home than they thought they could get, while minimizing financial obligation and securing the roof over their heads for the rest of their lives, which is exactly what they lust after. If you were shopping for your last home, what more could you ask for? Just for the record, when I say filthy rich, I mean 3 million or more. So Unless you're filthy rich with money to burn, retirement will be a challenge. And if you're over 67 or 65, even 62, there's precious little margin for error because once you lose or quit that job, recovering from even a little financial misstep becomes more difficult and prolonged. But a boneheaded blunder, well, that's in a totally different league of dire consequences. The information in this video is rather focused on how you can significantly impact the lives of your senior clients. I expect it may seem like just a boatload of boring information to you, but by drilling down on the why and the what and the how that this information permeates the lives of your clients, you will be able to point to the bigger solutions that will be solved when you hook them up with the Hickam strategy to protect their homes. It's no secret that boomers are the biggest spenders on the planet, and they're not disciplined savers, but you already know this. They'll keep on spending because that's what they do. Helping them to prioritize the best application of funds now before anything eats into them may be the best advice they'll ever get from anyone. But now, as they careen toward retirement, it seems like they're trying to bury their heads in the sand to avoid the reality that they're not prepared. Boomers have been lucky all their lives, mostly. Their astonishing numbers began to attract attention as society bent, broke, and changed to accommodate their needs. Retirement will be no different. Many will miss out because, well, it can be tricky, but you can help them get what they crave and keep it. If AARP is right, retirement for over 30 million of us will be work, drop, adios. But that leaves another 30 million that haven't figured out what's going to happen. Maybe they're in denial, or perhaps they just haven't begun the process of planning for their retirement. After all, boomers are procrastinators. What this overlooks is that the work till they drop solution falls apart and fails if they lose their job for any reason. Do you see the problem here? AARP's 30 million who've already thrown in the towel are only half of the number that are at risk of running out of money before they die or lose their job. That is, if they don't find a solution to make ends meet with their undersized nest eggs. All I did so far is to introduce the glum box that most of us try to plan around, the one that suggests that maybe we should just work till we drop. Thinking outside that box is where we find the kind of solutions that can set us free and retire. But first, I want to make sure you understand the real value of what I found before I give it to you. A September 2014 report from Zillow says that it costs more to rent than to buy in every major United States city. In my neck of the woods, Phoenix, they say the average homebuyer would spend less than 18% of their income to own a median-priced home versus almost 27% to rent it. There are many fresh studies projecting rampant growth in rents down the road, which is why in the book I suggest that renting isn't even a good plan B if it's at all possible for you to own your retirement home. In 2007, I stumbled upon something while reading small print on some legal documents, and I began connecting dots that pointed to a powerful strategy. What I found may be the simplest financial protection device on the planet, but it isn't marketed as one. I call it my treasure map, and I'll share it so your clients can retire safe and secure beyond their current imaginary limits. Statistics say that most boomers are not prepared for retirement, and the math we do in our secret thoughts, we think they may be right. But again, we're the baby boomers. As we move through life, we disrupt status quo. Retirement will be no different. Some of us have saved more than others. Many of us who don't believe there's any chance for retirement will learn they may be able to retire on a shoestring budget that also includes counterintuitive shell of protection that unplanned circumstances will not crush. Hey, this isn't the way we expected to enter our golden years, but we never expected to get slammed by the housing crash of 2008 either. Even when you downsize, consider that qualifying for traditional financing involves much stricter lending qualification guidelines than you may have grown accustomed to, including income verification, credit scores, and specific liquidity reserves just to get approved. Loss of your job can throw your qualification out the window, and you may be unable to continue making the big monthly payments. How would losing your home support an orderly transition into retirement? Retirement needs to be all about having choices, not insurmountable surprises. This is protection from outside the conventional boundaries. When you're in serious financial danger, you won't be concerned about how you protected yourself, just how well it worked. My home is my territory. Like a lion, I'll defend my territory, and so should you. I'll show you how to keep that roof over your head when the law would have allowed others to take it from you. This covers two top retirement objectives: housing and nest egg. And, well, of course, happiness as well. If I lost everything, what I'd miss most is having a home, and so would you. My home is a space where I'm in relative control and feel relatively safe. Why else, according to studies, would retirees on a fixed income allocate the lion's share of their carefully trimmed budget to housing? Sure, you might score a bed in a shelter or just sleep under a bridge, but my personal preference is a dry bed with clean sheets. So many people put off important choices like downsizing, relocating, and lifestyle options longer than they should. When any move will be harder because of age, choices will be narrower because of price elasticity, financing qualification, and such, or after an unplanned emergency when it's already too late. Quit resisting that little voice in your head. Now it's time to start making your list of wants, needs, and desires for housing. Get it done early. Getting it done early allows more choice options for the rest of your life. We're planning to retire on a shoestring budget. There have been quite a number of studies, several in 2014, on the financial impact of housing expense to seniors' household budget bottom line, each with differing cross-section details, most with similar findings. The biggest monthly budgetary expense for most seniors is housing. Having a HICM on your home before an unplanned circumstance can be a game changer. It's like calamity insurance. Even though you may not have gone through the extra steps of meeting attorneys, planners, insurers, and all the rest of the financial community for their opinions before putting the HICM in place, this piece of the puzzle has me giddy with excitement because this huge benefit comes free with the HICM that you selected for other financial reasons altogether. This incredibly valuable protection device can be the difference between recurring cold sweat nightmares or sleeping well, stressing about job loss or retiring on a shoestring. Having a roof over your heads for the rest of your lives, or having no roof at all. But I haven't even mentioned why most people elect to use perhaps the most flexible financial retirement tool on the planet. They want more spending money. Your house is likely your largest store of wealth. If you need more income, it's the logical place to look. A HICM is not risky or tricky or scary. It's like any other mortgage. You retain title to your home. You can sell it whenever you wish, and it can still be handed down to your heirs. If painting the kitchen a nauseating shade of fluorescent orange lights your fire, go ahead, paint that room. It's your house. The big difference is that you'll not be required to make any mortgage payments ever again. You can if you want to, and some people just do. But your trusted advisors will probably suggest otherwise. Although there are countless ways to structure a HICM, the four basic strategies are easiest to differentiate. For example, number one, when you own the home outright, free and clear, create tenure income. Receive a monthly check much like an annuity for as long as either you or your spouse lives in that home. Number two, set up a line of credit. Unlike traditional credit lines that were frozen or canceled when we needed the money for emergencies during the recession, the HICM line of credit cannot be canceled or frozen, period. Number three, if you have a small mortgage on your home, pay it off. The most popular reason for borrowers to get a HICM is that they want to eliminate their current mortgage payments and use that money that would have been sent to their mortgage lender for other lifestyle choices. This is a no-brainer. If you still have a mortgage payment, it's probably your biggest monthly payment. Getting rid of it can allow you to use that money for other lifestyle stuff. Number four, use it to purchase your retirement home. Having a roof over your heads for the rest of your lives is at the top of your list for a safe and secure retirement, isn't it? Earlier, I suggested that I'm going to be downsizing my home for retirement, but I was surprised to read the October 2014 report from the Demand Institute that said most baby boomers plan to age in place, but 37% of them have near-term plans to buy their retirement home, and 47% of those that are looking to move are expecting to buy nicer homes with more space. According to the report, boomers will spend $1.9 trillion on home purchases in the next 5 years. Using a HICM to purchase a retirement home of any size can stretch the number of whistles and bells and other luxury features that can be included in that home. It also facilitates buying in better neighborhoods that would have been out of reach without this no mortgage payment financing. And don't forget, the HICM will protect the roof over your head for the rest of your lives. So a non-recourse loan is simply a loan that the lender can't come after the borrower or anybody else for any reason down the road. The end. That's it. So upon the death of the borrower or a surviving spouse, title transfers to the heirs, just like any other mortgage property. Regardless of how much interest compounds over the life of the loan, the payoff is going to be capped at 95% of the home's value at that time. So imagine if traditional mortgages were like that. During the crash, nobody would have been upside down on their mortgage. All other benefits pale in comparison to the financial protection a HICM provides to you and your spouse. Today you got your message on the windshield. How are you going to handle it? I implored you to make this a priority. This slideshow isn't the complete story about Hickams. It's simply a water balloon to get your attention. For more detail, you can contact me direct or get a copy of my new book on the strategy at Amazon. The name of the book, What Every Senior Ought to Know About Retiring. How to Retire Safe and Secure on an Underfunded Nest Egg. The book uses plain talk about a simple event that often sounds complicated. I'm publishing this to give seniors who have accumulated fewer assets than professionals say is necessary a fresh perspective to an elusive retirement solution.